Okay, I have been getting a lot of conversation recently. I mean, like the last, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks around gift funds. So I figured why not just do a video about it, because it's probably one of the most common things I've been talking about lately. I just think gift funds are starting to come a little bit more in play, and a lot of borrowers don't understand all of the guidelines around them. So I'm just going to do a quick video and kind of walk through it, and hopefully this will help. Whether you are a realtor and you're getting some of these questions from your buyers, which, by the way, always send them to your lender partners to answer these questions, because there are nuances. But it's a great way to kind of get a little bit of really kind of education around it. So I'm always a why person. Like, why are there all these guidelines? Why do I have to give you all this information? That was something I learned very early on in my banking career, was like earning the right to ask questions about people's finances comes through conversation. And a lot of times if they know the why behind it, it just helps in kind of taking their guard down and really kind of understanding, okay, what is it that they're actually looking for? Because so many people get very nervous when it comes to talking about their finances, their private information, and so that is helpful. So first and foremost, what are gift funds? So gift funds are any contribution, whether it is actual money or if it is in the form of equity, which I'll talk about that in a second, that is being gifted to a borrower from a person who is not buying the house. So first things first, who can give me gift funds? Who can give me a gift of equity? So there are very strict regulations on who is allowed to contribute towards the purchase of a home for a borrower. So always think first and foremost family. So grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, siblings. It has been expanded now that it could be a long-term partner. So if you're somebody who's maybe engaged, or if you just have a long-term partner, that can now suffice as well. As well as Fannie just recently expanded. So Freddie has always allowed this. So we're talking conventional here, that let's say your parents own an LLC, or a family member owns an LLC. Conventional loans, you could always get a gift of equity, gift of equity or gift of funds from a business entity. Fannie just recently expanded that. Now, govies, so when you think about VA, USDA, FHA, they cannot come from any kind of a business format. So it has to be that familial relationship. So there is strict guidelines. You can look them up. You can ask your lender partners to help you with, hey, who can give me funds? And so that is level one. Hey, who can contribute? The second piece of this, and this is something that I have been trying to get in front of a lot, because people just think like, oh, well, I can just deposit this money in my account. It came from grandma and grandpa. This is good. And it's like, no, there are strict guidelines of how that money has to be utilized. So cleanest and simplest, this was a change that happened last year or the year before, that now the easiest and least invasive way of using gift funds, so when we're talking about actual money, is to have the gifter, so grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, etc., just wire those funds to closing, to the title company. So foreclosing to the title company. So by doing that, now we don't have to source those funds, which means sourcing is I need to show the bookends. I need to show where that money came from. I need to show it going into your account and, where it was in that gifter's account prior to giving it to you. So if we don't give, like grandma and grandpa doesn't get a cashier's check, then give it to you and you deposit it in your bank account, now we have to source it. But if we can just say, hey, great, we're going to earmark it, we're going to gift the gift funds letter signed, and then we're going to have them just wire it to title. Very easy. That is the simplest way. Now, when we have to source, the reason why I like to kind of touch on this is because the gifter can feel kind of that their privacy is invaded, right? If they're not the one buying the house, as the lender, per underwriting guidelines, so this is a federal money laundering regulation, we now have to get grandma and grandpa's bank statements, mom and dad's bank statements, whoever it is that's gifting the funds, they actually have to give us their bank statements. And that can feel kind of icky if they don't want you as their family member to know what's in their bank account, what are they spending their money on, how much money do they have, right? So we can sometimes circumvent that by having them send it directly to me, to my processor, to whomever, so that that information is not given to you. But it can still feel very invasive. But money laundering guidelines very strictly state that if there is a large deposit that goes into your bank account as the buyer, and that is from gift funds, we have to source that money. So now we need to see grandma and grandpa or whoever's bank statements to make sure you didn't just give them a large sum of cash or, whatever that you've had laying around at your house, deposited in their account and be like, hey, just give it to me in a deposit. No. We have very strict guidelines on what that needs to look like. Okay. So just be prepared if you are going to be somebody who's going to be using gift funds. There's going to be conversations around like, hey, really simplification. Have whoever just wire those funds to closing. We will let you know when we are ready for them to do that. And don't have them give it to you because it just can be a little bit messier, still workable, but a little bit messier and more invasive. So that's number one. Now I alluded to this thing called gift of equity. So this is only in familial transactions. So a perfect example of this would be like mom and dad own a house. Maybe now they want to downsize. You want to buy this childhood home. You want to buy this house. Let's say mom and dad have either paid it off or there is a significant amount of equity that they own in that home. So they can actually, just like in cash or just like in funds, they can actually gift you the equity in the house. And that equity can be used to pay your down payment. It can be used to pay your prepaids. It can be used however you want. It can be structured into the loan so that you, the buyer, can now not have to, sorry, motorcycle going by. The buyer now, you don't have to come up with your 3% first-time home buyer down payment for conventional or 3.5% down payment for FHA, right? Now we can use the gift of equity. Mom and dad can gift you the equity in the house, meaning they don't actually have to give you money. And now they can actually gift you that equity to use towards your purchase. So that is something that is really cool, but it has to be a family transaction. So you can't just buy someone else's house and they say, hey, I've got equity, I'm going to gift it to you. No. Strict guidelines around that has to be a family member. But it's a really cool way for your parents to be able to say like, hey, I still want to sell this house and make some sort of a profit on it, but I'm willing to give you some equity to help you get into this house and take that over. So there's always little nuances. There's different things that we need to kind of work through as if we use that, but it's a very cool way to be able to get into home ownership. And if your parents or grandparents or somebody want to help you, that's a great way to be able to do that. So all of this to say, gift funds just seem to be a hot topic lately, and I wanted to kind of give some detail around what are gift funds, who can give them, what does that look like from conventional versus government. You can use gift funds for VA, you can use gift funds for any kind of a loan transaction. It's just very strict on who can give those gift funds. So if this resonates, if you have questions, if there's anything I can help with, definitely reach out. I'd be glad to help you answer questions.